The great thing about work camping is not the work, it's the thing that comes after the work. Hi, I'm Steve Turtle and I'm a work camper. This story is about Jill and I, back on the road again, traveling to New Orleans, Louisiana. We're going to visit friends and family and tear up the town. Yeah, right, until about 6 p.m. Last week we took a little time off. We stayed at WW2 RV Park in Texas. I shared our last gate guard story, our 10th and final week at gate guarding. If you missed it and you'd like to see it, I'll leave a link right up there. This week we're going to talk about our adventure from Texas all the way to New Orleans, Louisiana. Then next week we'll be traveling to Gulf Shores, Alabama. And we get to visit with a couple of friends who are not only work campers, but also YouTube creators. Have you ever been to a parking lot and there's shopping carts all over the place? What's wrong with people? Did they get so tired pushing that cart all around the store and then all the way out to their car and they just couldn't take one more step? Come on, return the cart where it belongs. This week I'd like to promote a YouTube channel. Last week, a YouTube creator promoted our channel and it was a very nice gesture. It's nice to be recognized by one of the larger YouTube channels. They just hit 10,000 subscribers and 10 million views. That's pretty awesome. RV Daydream. So first, I'd like to return the gesture and say, thanks, RV Daydream. And number two, go on over to their channel and check them out. They're up in Ohio. It's really cold and snowy, so if you're from the southern hemisphere and it's nice and warm, comment on their page, tell them how warm it is. That'll get them motivated so they can get out on the road. Tell them Steve Turtle sent you, and I'll leave a link right up there. And now for the weather. Nope, I'm not going to do the weather this week either. I'm working on something. I'm trying to put something together. So I'm going to wait and I'm going to do the weather later, if you don't mind. We've had a lot of new subscribers, friends, part of our work camper community. And I appreciate it and thank you so much for subscribing. And if you have any comments, leave them down below and I'll answer them. Your comments motivate me. They help me determine whether or not the things that I share is important to the things that you're curious about. And they help me understand the things that I should shut up about. My goal is to have a positive channel, a place that people can go and learn about work camping, have fun, and laugh from time to time. So keep those comments coming. I aim to answer all of them. So if I miss one, let me know. The thing that's great about work camping is not the work. It's the thing that comes after the work. It's the adventures, it's the traveling, relaxing, and meeting friends. Let's talk a little bit about our adventure. I got a lot of information here that I want to share. I hope I don't bore you too much. If I do, just turn it off. Flip to the end and, I don't know, subscribe, whatever. Day one, after a week's stay at WW2 RV Park in Texas, we packed up, got on the road, and headed for New Orleans, and we went the back way. Soon after we started our trip, the check engine light came on our big red Dodge, so we proceeded to Christian Brothers Automotive, which is just north of New Orleans. We arrived late, but they had enough time to check out the old Dodge, and then we made an appointment for the following day. It was late and we were hungry, so we set out looking for a place to eat and a place to stay for the night. We ended up at Texas Roadhouse, and just as we received our food, the power went out. The power went out through the whole area, but we sat right up under an emergency light, and it was like eating dinner at candlelight. So we sat there and we finished our meal, and when we got ready to pay, they said, well, we can't accept pay because there's no electricity. So we had a free meal. As we left the restaurant, we realized out in the parking lot all the lights were out. The Walmart down the road said, nope, you can't park in our parking lot. And the closest place was about 30 minutes away. So we said, what the heck? We'll sleep right where the campers park. So we slept in a Hobby Lobby parking lot. There were no knocks on the door, so all was well. Day 2, we woke up. Camper was still there. No tickets on the windshield. So we drove back to Christian Brothers to have the truck worked on. 4 hours and $700 later, we were ready to go to New Orleans. While we were at Christian Brothers, one of the mechanics suggested, why don't you take the causeway across to New Orleans? We had never driven across the causeway, and we thought that was pretty cool. He said it'd cost about $5 to drive across. We drove up to the toll booth, and the lady said, that'll be $18, please. I said, what? Dumb me. $5 for a car, $18 for a truck and camper. Go figure. Anyway, we traveled across the causeway, went through New Orleans. Just south of New Orleans, we were staying at the Naval Air Station, the Aviation Harbor RV Park. It's a pretty nice park. $21 a night, and that's not a bad deal. Day 3, I woke up to first call, 5:55 in the morning. It's common for a military base to broadcast bugle calls. It's a history thing. It's a way of communication. There's 25 bugle calls that some posts play all of them and other posts only play a few. And there's 2 major ones. At 6 a.m. they have reveille, and that's when they raise the national colors. And then at 5 p.m. in the evening, they lower the colors, and that is retreat, and that signals the end of the day. Then we traveled north up to Gonzales, Louisiana to meet with Johnny and Tracy of RV SWAT at a Cajun village. We walked around, talked, did a little shopping, had a good time. After that, we drove around the corner to a restaurant, and then we had some really good Louisiana food. Then we all drove north of Baton Rouge and went over and had a tour of the Myrtle Plantation. This was our first meetup with a YouTube creator, and Johnny and Tracy are doing well, and Johnny looks good and seems like he's on the road to recovery. They are a very nice couple, and they're fun to hang out with, and they're looking forward to their next adventure, which is gate guarding. So if you haven't checked out their channel and you'd like to check them out, I'll leave a link right up there. Tell them Steve Turtle sent you. Day 4, we hooked up with Jill's sister and brother-in-law, Lynn and Paul, and we went to the World War II Museum. And no, I did not serve during World War II. $18 each with a military discount. It's a really nice museum. It got like 5 buildings full of history, artifacts, and World War II movies. After the World War II Museum, we drove down to the French Quarter and had some tasty food and Louisiana, New Orleans, French Quarter ambiance. So since we were south of New Orleans, we just drove the truck from where we were up to Algiers Point and parked along the street. It was free parking and looked pretty safe. We left, went across on the ferry. It was $2 per person on the ferry. Takes you all the way over to Canal Street. From Canal Street, you can travel all around the city with buses, trolleys, or Uber. Make sure you have exact change. All the RTA fares for public transportation requires cash and exact change. We just carried a wallet full of $1 bills, stripper money. Then we met our tour guide down at the French Quarter. He's going to give us a tour, talk about history, and a little bit later we're going to walk through a cemetery. Jill likes old stuff. Day 6, Sunday, Super Bowl day. We sat around the camper, didn't do much, did some things around the camper, ate food, and then later we went down to watch the Super Bowl. We went to a place here on base. It's called the Crew Lounge, and all the branches of service were represented at this bar. Day 7, we traveled across the river again and took a shuttle to Mardi Gras World. It's a warehouse where they build, design, make, paint, floats, and other things that go on floats for the Mardi Gras. It was $18 a piece with a military discount, and had a good time. The tour was good, and they gave us the opportunity to take a few pictures. Then to Bourbon Street for more food, and then we walked down Bourbon Street to soak up some of the ambiance and some of the lifestyle. Ended up in Cafe Beignet and had a little music and a little bit of beer. What's next for us? By the time you see this story, we'll be in Gulf Shore, Alabama, and we're going to stop there and we're going to visit with some friends for a while. And then we're going to travel I-10 over to Florida and then south. And we're going to Disney World. Are we too old for Disney World? After that, we're going to travel up the East Coast, going north to Pennsylvania, stopping off in Savannah, Georgia, and someplace in South Carolina, and maybe some place in North Carolina, Williamsburg, I don't know. We're still trying to make a plan. It'll change before tomorrow. Anyway, eventually we'll arrive in Pennsylvania, where we'll start our next job as workampers. Well, that's our story for the week. I babbled along long enough. If you enjoyed our story, click like and subscribe if you'd like to hear more stories like this one. New stories every week on Wednesday, right here on this YouTube channel. Until later, thanks for your time. Bye. Oh, and ring that bell. If you click on that bell, every time I post a video, you'll get notified. You don't want to miss any. It's going to be a hoot.